Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a deleted user in the AITAH subreddit. The post is titled AITAH for confronting my sister about cheating with my husband based on what our mom told me. My husband is cheating on me. I know this for certain. He's doing all the things a cheating spouse would do. He has turned off his location tracker, he has been ignoring me, staying out late with work buddies, and has all the excuses for everything. I know what this is. I don't know with whom, but I know he is. I talked to my mom about this, and she mentioned how my sister has been doing the same thing. I have two sisters. One is married and has kids named Ray, and the other is in her freshman year of college and still lives at home named Emma. Mom says Emma has been doing all the same stuff that my husband has been and doing it around the same time. Emma and my husband have always gotten along, but now that I look back, it almost seems like they get along too well. My husband and I are expecting our first. It's been a good marriage until a few months ago when things started to get rocky. Then this. I confronted my sister this morning and she denied everything and called me an insecure just for insinuating it. I told her mom told me, and now my mom is upset because I threw her under the bus. Ray doesn't want any part of this mess. Am I the jerk? Update. It's now really late where we live. My husband has not come home. He has not answered his phone. I texted him multiple times and I know he has read the messages, but he won't answer his phone. I was going to talk to him about this when he got back, but he's not back yet. I don't know if he's coming back. As I said in a previous comment, I am 37 weeks pregnant. I have preeclampsia, my BP is skyrocketing. I'm trying to calm down. To everyone who said to get a PI, I have been on unpaid FMLA for the last month because of my BP complications. I have no money for anything other than this child. All of my savings are going towards my kid's future and if there are further complications/medical bills. A PI is not in my budget. To the people who are telling me that I jump to conclusions but also are telling me to get a divorce in the same breath, isn't a divorce also jumping to conclusions? Divorce is not in the budget right now either. I know how much lawyers cost. I will keep you all updated. I will post in the morning. Thank you all. User Badass Maiden said NTA for having suspicions and wanting answers, but you might be TA for how you handled the situation. User Ches 2022 said NTA. Your sister denied it, then called you an insecure bitch. Ask your husband two things. Why has he turned off his location tracker, ignored you, and stayed out with his work buddies? Then ask why your mother thinks he is having an affair with your sister. Your mother would not have said this if she wasn't very sure that something was going on. She just didn't want to say it out loud. He will deny it, and your sister will already have contacted him to delete any messages. Unless he deleted them from the cloud, they are still there. This is totally out of my league, but I do know one thing. Your mother is desperate. She is concerned for your health and your baby. She would not throw your sister under the bus like this unless she was absolutely certain. Ask her why she told you all of this about your sister. User Sane for Cocoa Puffs said, your sister at college is staying out late, turning off her location so her mother doesn't track her, and doesn't want to tell anyone where she is going. Your sister at college. My friend, your sister is going to raves and possibly engaging in recreational drugs. I hate to break it to you, but you messed up really badly. The idea that your college freshman sister who is staying out late is having an affair with your husband instead of being with any other male in college is absolutely insane. I won't call you the jerk because you have admitted to difficulties with your pregnancy and you probably are hormonal. It is natural to be irrational and make poor decisions in that state. But are you off the mark? Even if your husband is cheating on you, there is zero evidence that your sister is involved. And frankly, considering the insane story you've spun to explain why a college freshman is staying out late and doesn't want her mom to know, it makes me question your judgment about your husband too. Unless your husband looks like a Greek god and radiates holy light, I cannot imagine a college freshman sees him as the catch of the century over every other college male. User Wild Violinist said, YTA, hear me out. You don't actually know anything. You suspect your husband is being unfaithful, but you haven't discussed it with him. You say your marriage was great until his behavior changed a few months ago. It couldn't have been that great if you can't discuss this with him. Is it even a little bit possible you're hormonal and feeling insecure because you're pregnant? Your husband is taking the brunt of your mood swings, and maybe he's venting to a friend or colleagues but doesn't want you to know to avoid upsetting you or making you feel like a burden. He could be cheating, but you also could be avoiding talking to him about it because deep down, you don't really believe he is. Regardless, even if he is cheating, I feel like you better be damn sure before you accuse your own sister of such a deep betrayal. You could be right. It sounds like you are jumping to conclusions. Edit, for those who are interested, OP made an update. Hubby's sleeping with her mom. The very next day, OP provided an update. My life is completely upended. It has been over 24 hours since I confronted my younger sister Emma about cheating with my husband. I was sure my husband was cheating with her based on what our mother told me yesterday. It turns out I was wrong. My husband did not come home last night. I know he read my text messages because they are marked red. He ignores all of my calls though. I had no idea where he was. I got about 2 hours of sleep last night, and that was only because I was utterly exhausted. I woke up to my older sister Ray calling. I answered it. Ray lives in the cul-de-sac at the end of our parents' street, about 5 houses down. Ray is also a stay-at-home. She started by apologizing over and over again, which just made me nervous. And when I pressed her, she said she was sorry for not telling me when she knew for certain that my husband was cheating with our mother. I will admit that I barely remember what was said because of the shock, but I'm trying my best to write it in order to remember it for the future. Ray said that this has been going on for a few months, so that would be before my husband and I were actually married. She says that Emma would leave to go to night classes or hang out with friends, and about 20 minutes later, my husband would pull up to our parents' house. He would stay there for an hour or two and then leave before Emma got back. Ray said this happened multiple nights a week now whenever Emma and our dad were gone. Our dad works long shifts at night. He would have no idea. We know mom probably has location tracking for Emma, which is how they knew where she was. We don't know if Emma took that off yet. Emma obviously is not happy with me, so I can't ask her. The most damning thing is that mom went out last night and didn't return until the morning before dad got home from work. Ray texted her asking if everything was okay, and mom said that a friend of hers was sick and needed comforting. Emma also did not come home last night, but that's probably because she is pissed and hurt and needed to be around friends. I will apologize to her, but I can't without telling her what's going on. Ray keeps apologizing, saying that she just didn't want to get involved and it wasn't her business. She also called me an asshole for confronting Emma and says that by doing that, I'm tearing the family apart. She has forbidden me from telling dad, saying she'll never forgive me. I feel like dad has the right to know. I know how it feels to have someone do this to you and to have the information withheld. I'm not going to say anything until I have concrete evidence because I learned my lesson, but would I be the asshole if I told my dad and Emma what is happening? Update. I've had nothing but time to think. I've been alone in my house, reading comments and figuring out how I'm going to do everything. I'm overwhelmed and I'm fatigued inside out and I'm too tired to freak out anymore. My soon-to-be ex-husband called me. He sounded like he had been on a bender and was hungover, slurring his words, repeating things. He said he's sorry, that he's a piece of shit, that he loves me, that he's on his way home. He turned on his location and did a check, so I knew he was on the highway headed toward my house, but I didn't know where he was. Our mother has been unusually silent. Ray apologized again over text. I don't care anymore. I haven't talked to my dad or Emma. I'm not going to until I have something concrete. I don't want to be that person again. Addressing some comments, Ray does use our mother for childcare. Could be a reason why she doesn't want to rock the boat. Probably the reason actually. This is not the first time our mother has cheated on our dad. I remember back when I was around 11 and they separated for a while. It was very traumatic for all of us. I have an appointment with my OB later this week where we will discuss inductions. My BP has been hovering around 155/87 and 145/80. Swelling has been worse. I'm monitoring my health along with the baby. The cul-de-sac is not a trailer park, though I did chuckle. It may as well be one now. I am sure that in order to record him, I need his consent. I'll work on that when he gets home. I have thoughts about how to do it. I'm trying to be smarter. I'll update again. Probably won't be soon, but you'll get one. You guys are really helping me get my shit together. User Sketchy Peg said, all of this family affair crap aside, the fact that you're 37 weeks pregnant, have pre-eclampsia, and your husband is just gone. Not answering the phone all this time is really the only reason you need to kick him out, change the locks, and eventually divorce him. User Difficult Heat said, crazy plot twist. I feel so sorry and angry for you and your soon-to-be-born baby. I hope you're eating and drinking fluids. Your health matters. This baby matters. Get the evidence you need and discreetly leave it for your dad to find. Emma definitely deserves to know the truth. Now we know why your POS mother quickly threw Emma under the bus. Ray should have told you. Sad situation. User opposite birthday said, your mom and husband are tearing your family apart. How sad and desperate your mom must be to need a man's attention this badly. Do not let them or anyone else gaslight you. Take care of yourself. I am furious on your behalf. And of course, your father has a right to know. You're going to need proof though, because they're definitely going to deny it and Ray isn't going to back you up. User Angel Elena said, this is a heartbreaking situation and it's understandable that you're feeling overwhelmed and betrayed. You are NTA for wanting to tell your dad and Emma the truth. They deserve to know what's happening and your mom's actions are causing significant harm to your family. While it's important to be mindful of the potential consequences, honesty and transparency are crucial in dealing with such a difficult situation. User Direct Commission said, never expected this turn of events. Tell your dad now, and your sister Ray is a shit human being for knowing your mom and husband were having an affair and not telling you. Screw what she wants. Screw if she forgives you. How could she not tell you? You didn't tear the family apart. Your mom, husband, and sister Ray tore the family apart. Your mom and husband for having an affair, and your sister for knowing it was happening and hiding it from everyone. You do owe your sister a massive apology, and it will take time for her to forgive you. Tell her the truth. Tell her what your mom told you, why you confronted her, and then what Ray told you. Be honest and take responsibility for accusing her without evidence. You need to tell your dad so you two can lean on each other during this time. Your dad deserves to know that his wife cheated on him, but more importantly, he deserves to know his wife cheated with his daughter's husband. That is another level of betrayal. Your sister Ray keeping the secret shows what kind of person she is. And let me ask you this, if you knew your mom was having an affair with Ray's husband, would you have told her immediately? I would seriously go NC with Ray, mom, husband, and anyone else who sides with them. What your mother did is reprehensible and abhorrent. Please tell your dad and Emma the truth. Be open, honest, and transparent with your dad and tell him Ray knew and said nothing. This next post was made in the same subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled AITAH for ghosting my GF after seeing her body. So basically, I was dating this girl whom I met at university, who I'll call Amy, for 5 months up until 2 weeks ago. I met Amy at one of the college societies I was a part of, and we hit it off and started dating. We dated quite a bit and basically became a couple for a few months, although she was rather averse to touch and physical intimacy for a time. Despite that, I genuinely liked her as I felt that she somewhat understood me and meshed well with my weird personality. We didn't sleep together at all until a few weeks ago when she invited me to her place and we were about to have sex. Now, as she was taking her clothes off, I noticed that she had quite a bit of body hair as well as a bulge in her panties, which I found initially unsettling but decided to soldier through anyway. But then when the panties came off, it smelled and looked bad. Her labia looked long and stretched out, while the stench of her privates was so strong that I could smell it while we were at eye level. I ended up telling her that I just wasn't feeling it and left. I then blocked her on everything not long after and tried to forget about that whole experience. I haven't really seen Amy at all in any of the clubs since then, but one of her friends did end up approaching me and she screamed at me, saying all sorts of offensive shit and accusing me of ruining Amy because she had apparently become withdrawn from all of them after that night. I ignored the friend though and just walked away as I didn't know her and thought her opinion was irrelevant. I later talked to my friend group about the ordeal and they all basically said that I should have just soldiered through and had sex with her first and then used some other trivial excuse to break up with her after. I thought that was stupid though, and I want to know what Reddit thinks because I'm bored. User Actual Clue said, hygiene is a good reason not to have sex or continue a relationship, but you should have told her something instead of just blocking her. She's probably going crazy trying to find out what part of her body you hated so much when the hygiene aspect is usually easily fixable. User Forever Single now said, give the girl an explanation. Being ghosted without knowing why is just an ass move. You can at least tell her about the body hair and maybe the smell. She can work on those two and regain confidence. YTA. User Stardew Uncanny Valley said, YTA. Why are you even asking? You can choose to break up with someone for whatever reason you want, but ghosting her after seeing her naked for the first time. Of course you're a dick. Ghosting anyone you've been in an actual relationship with is a dick move. Why are people too cowardly to have a conversation? User Blue Green said NTA. I am glad I read this before I had dinner. That sounds absolutely horrifying, but be forewarned. The Reddit brigade will come for you for ghosting her. They are all about closure or giving her one last time to scream, belittle, berate, etc. Closure is just another word for drama. If anyone on here thinks telling her the truth would have been anything other than a shit show, I have some stinky swampland for sale. Has anyone ever told a woman the reason they are breaking up with them and the woman just said, okay, thanks for telling me? Never happened. Men get rejected and or ghosted all the time, and they are just supposed to quietly walk away. This woman can do the same damn thing. And her friend who screamed at you, you should have told her to go F herself. This final post was made in the AITAH subreddit by a now deleted user. The post is titled AITAH for not wanting a relationship with my parents now that they've cut me off. I'm a student. My parents make enough money that when I went through student finance to get my maintenance loan, I was told I could only get the minimum just over £3,000 because finance is calculated from what your parents earn and there's an assumption that your parents will help you out. I'm on a high intensity course and I wasn't sure how I'd be able to balance studying and schooling. So when I found out I was going to get minimum, I told my parents I wanted to either take the coming year to save up and then go to my first choice university a year later than planned, or go to my second choice now because I wouldn't be able to afford to live in the city my first choice is in. My parents then said that they would pay my rent if I went to my first choice on schedule. They set me up in a studio flat, so all I had to do was get a part-time job to cover the cost of food and bills. On February 18th, my 20th birthday, they called me and said that I was relying on them too much and needed to find out what the real world was like by earning my own money, so they would cover my rent and phone for that month, and after that I was on my own. Then they said that they were still my parents and they loved me and wanted me to stay in touch, just learn some independence while doing this. I begged them to reconsider, but they ended the call, so I had 11 days notice that I would have no flat or phone. I begged my university for emergency housing, but they said that I had no proof I'd been cut off, so they couldn't do anything. I emailed my parents asking them to write a letter stating they'd cut me off so I could sort my student finance and emergency housing. They said no. I asked work if I could take on more hours and was told that due to my contract I can't do any more than I'm already doing, so I'm now looking for a second job. I'm sleeping on a friend's sofa until a place I can afford opens up, and as I still don't have proof I've been cut off for student finance, I will probably have to drop out this summer. I got a Facebook message from them today telling me they were disappointed I didn't call on mom's birthday a couple of days ago and that I've not given them my new phone number yet. I responded telling them the position I'm currently in and that I no longer want a relationship with them. I've gotten a bunch of messages from them and my brother's asking me to reconsider. My friend says I shouldn't feel bad, but I feel incredibly guilty and like a spoiled brat because I don't love my family for their money. I love them because they're my family, but at the same time, they've really screwed me over here. Update. I messaged them asking why they cut me off, saying the least they could do was explain why they're fine leaving me homeless. They responded, "My friend is an out and proud lesbian. There are maybe 2 posts about me on her social media, one being a group shot of us, and some people we were studying with in the library with me and her sat together, and another from a couple of days before my birthday, where she posted a photo of me when we went to lunch because we weren't planning on seeing each other on my actual birthday. And in the caption, she refers to me as Princess in a clearly joking way. My brothers then showed our parents and told them I was a lesbian and she was my girlfriend. So now I have proof that they cut me off, proof they're homophobic, and confirmation that they can and will switch on me at the drop of a hat, as well as proof of my brothers being jealous shitheads. They didn't just tell me this on the phone because they hoped I'd figure it out, which is tricky given that it's not true. Apparently, there's enough affection still there for them to expect a call on mom's birthday, but not enough to not totally me over. So yeah, never talking to them again, any of them. I've sent the screenshots to the person I spoke to in emergency housing, though I've been warned that for something called emergency housing, it's not very fast. My friend has said I can stay with her as long as I need. The reply my parents sent didn't explicitly say the phrase, "we cut you off because," but given the context of them replying to my message asking why it should be enough. Thanks everyone. I felt really shitty cutting them off over finances, but now I know they're pure evil, I don't feel so bad. I've also sent my parents the screenshots of my brother confirming that he and my other brother lied about me, and they're very apologetic, but that doesn't change anything. As my brothers live with my parents, I hope they're all very happy together right now. New plan, changing the focus of my studies going into third year to focus on the subjects I want to do, not the ones my parents wanted me to do. If I do this, I have a far better shot at getting a work placement, and if I get a work placement, I can spend my third year working full-time, earning a bit of cash, and then resume my studies the following year. Failing this, and if I can't get any help from the university or student finance, then I will defer my third year and work full-time for a year. My friend says I can stay with her as long as I need, and has said if I can't get emergency housing but can sort out my placement or another job, then we could get a place together next year. So I have a confirmed roommate. I no longer think I'm TA, so I'll probably be taking this down. So here's the thing, I might not be straight, I'm figuring it out, and I don't really have the capacity to go through it right now, but I've never said anything to anyone at all, ever, because I knew my parents were homophobic. So my brothers may have thought they were lying, but they also may have been inadvertently correct. And I have to say, being correct by accident is very typical of them. User Miss Missy said NTA, your parents set you up for failure. What I don't understand is why they refuse to put into writing what they have done if they believe it to be the right decision. You've been abandoned and your response is normal. User Singing Scott Lawyer said, your parents royally screwed you over here. You had two separate plans to be able to afford to go to university yourself, and they said if you went to your first choice, they would help you out. To then cut you off with very little warning is completely unfair. I don't blame you for not wanting a relationship with them after they've put you in this position. User Avenged Celery said NTA. A lot of people have already covered the basics, but also the maintenance loans in the UK are based on parental income because the government expects the parents to subsidize the rest. Whether you think this is fair or not, it is their presumed responsibility to ensure you can comfortably live and study. They accepted this and then just took that away from you with no chance to adapt to the change. It can take over a month to get a job, from applying to interviewing to actually starting, and then another month to get paid, and that's assuming you get a job straight away. This isn't encouraging independence, it's encouraging failure because there is no way to live like this, let alone study. They clearly have no idea how the real world works today, and you don't deserve this at all. You owe them absolutely nothing in terms of a relationship. If they've been otherwise good parents and you would still want a relationship with them if it wasn't for this situation, I would talk to them and tell them exactly how unreasonable they are being, how impossible it is to assume you can just become independent at the click of their fingers, and how much of an effect this will have on your future when you can't continue your degree because you have nowhere to live or have to work so much. You don't have the time to do university work, which heavily relies on independent study. If it doesn't change their minds, not only would I tell you to not feel bad about cutting them off, I would advise you to cut them off, even if you didn't do all that NTA.